Okay, picking up where we left off, we're smack dab in the middle of talking about assignment rules. So reading comprehension is very important. Typically these assignments are only like 4 sentences long. And so I'll admit, 4 sentences is not a tremendous amount of information, but please read every single word. Okay. Typically, you're going to submit like a Word document if it's a writing assignment, or a zip file which contains the contents of your web page. So you're going to be writing websites with multiple pages, and you're going to zip up the contents of that and ship that off to me so I can see what you're doing. I have a standard file naming convention, and okay, I'll admit this is a little weird, but it's okay. I'm allowed to be weird. So here's how it works. It's the name of the course, which is CIS3315 space, whatever the thing you're turning in, like assignment 1, 2, 3, space, your last name dot your first name, and then whatever the file name extension is. So that's 2 in exactly 2 spaces. Okay, nod your head. How many spaces? 2. Exactly 2. Okay. All submissions are going to be done via Canvas. You're not going to email, you're not going to print, you're not going to do anything else. And I'll tell you that for assignments, that multiple submissions are allowed. What happens is you're going to submit a document. I'm going to scribble some notes on it and send it back to you saying, let's say I gave you like an 80. I said, that was pretty good. That web page was pretty good, but you forgot this, and this. And so you look at it and go, oh, okay. And so you very quickly change it, resubmit it, and you can get a higher grade. Okay, so resubmitting is not only allowed, it's encouraged. Okay. And then, of course, do your own work. If you're plagiarizing, you'll just annoy me. So here's how the grading rubric works for doing these things. So assignment requirements. Did you read and follow instructions? Oh my God, I can't believe the number of people who can't read a simple set of instructions. Maybe my instructions are cryptic. Maybe not. But if I say I want you to have the following 5 things, and you don't have 5 of those, you have 4 of those, it's going to be, okay, you didn't read the assignment. So 25% is, can you read and follow instructions? I know, sounds crazy, huh? Whatever the topic specific objectives for that particular course, that particular chapter, like, tables. Does it pass validation? So I want to make sure that every time you submit something to me, we're going to show you how to check to see if it's valid HTML5. And so if you just run through that little thing, it'll tell you. Is it readable? Is it organized? Does it meet all the accessibility rules? And this is not an English course, so spelling, punctuation, and grammar, like 5 points, 5%, whatever. So this is basically how I grade your assignments. So there's a late policy, and basically everything is due at midnight, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Now, typically, I start grading the following morning. Now, I'm not going to tell you for absolute certain that I'm going to do it every single morning. I might have some other things going on. But I typically start grading the following morning. So there's a 5-point penalty per day if you're late. So, for example, this example. Let's say you got a perfect score. Woohoo! But you're 4 days late. Well, 4 days times 5 points per day is 20, which means the highest score you could get is an 80. And if you're pretty good at that math stuff, you could figure out after 20 days, right? 20 times 5 is 100, then you can never get a score. Now, when you resubmit something, okay, you submitted a paper, let's say you got an 80, and I scribble on it saying you missed something and send it back to you, and you fix it and send it, resubmit your assignment, you're now 1 day late. So when you do a resubmission, you automatically get, so the highest you could ever get on a resubmission is a 95, essentially. No fractions. I don't even look at the time. I look at the date. If it says it's due on the 11th, and today, and the assignment shows the 12th, then you're a day late. I don't look at the time. It's just days. So no fractional period of time. Here's my grading history. Now, this isn't necessarily the history of this one particular course. This is my grading history through all the courses that I teach. And the point of showing you this is that I'm kind of a middle of the road type of a professor. I'm not super easy and I'm not super tough. Most people make a B in my course. I tend to discard the F's over here. These are people who, they didn't flunk the course because it was tough. They flunked the course because they just didn't submit anything. But so basically this is the curve that you kind of sort of expect. This to me looks normal. If you work hard, you can get an A. If you kind of hang in there, you can get a B. That's just how it works. Okay. So feedback. Now, the whole point of learning, doing quizzes and doing assignments isn't to torture you. I mean, we professors don't get around and go, let's see if we can torture that student with another writing assignment. It's to help you learn. And the only way it works is if you read the feedback. So you submit a document, I'm going to scribble on it and send it back. If you fail to read the comments coming back, then most likely you're going to make the same mistake the next time, and therefore you're going to get even more points taken off the next time around. So yes, I want you to read the feedback. It's very, very important. So here are the things to look out for. All right. So there's lots of different ways you can get feedback. So let's just go through it. So inside your grade book, you may actually have to, you can't just look at the grade book, and because typically the grade book itself, like if it's let's say a writing assignment, a grade book itself is going to say, good job, something like that. But if you want to see the comments, you're actually going to have to open the grade book, and there's a little button, if it's a Word document you're submitting, there's a little button up on the upper right hand side that says view feedback. Okay, you click on that, you get to see the notes I put inside your document. If you fail to click on that button, then you will not see the feedback and you will not learn anything from all this. Okay, if it's a HTML document, typically I just attach that, I have those as attachments to the grade. So you have to bring up the grade book, you have to click on the thing and then see what I did. So once you have one of these, it'll make a little bit more sense. Now, I've been known to throw in a few Easter eggs, so to speak. Like inside your document, it might say, if you respond to this note by noon tomorrow, I'm going to give you 5 extra points on the next quiz. So you think I'm really serious about this feedback stuff? Like I really, really, really want you to read feedback? What do you think? Okay. So that's your personal feedback. I also have in the discussion forum, which I'll show in just a few minutes, I'll show how we do feedback for the entire course. And so the feedback for the entire course is going to provide context. Let's say you made a B on something and you're going, well, darn, I thought I did better than that. And then you look at the feedback from the entire course and you realize that everyone made a B. And you go, oh, okay, then I don't feel so bad. Or perhaps the opposite, you made a C and everyone else made an A. But the point is it shows everyone else's score and then some notes on things that we need to talk about on, clarification, like let's go over this again and here's some other things. So personal feedback in your gradebook and then the discussion forum. Now, watch your email right after a due date. Now, here's a story that sounds implausible, but it happens quite a lot, believe it or not. It's time for me to grade papers. And so I get up in the morning and get my coffee and I sit down at the computer and bring up assignment 2. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, what the heck is this? It's like, this is from some history course or something. It's got nothing to do. So I grade it as a 0 because, right, it's nothing. And then I send off a Canvas email that says, dude, I don't know what the heck this is, but this is not assignment 2 in this course. It looks like you submitted assignment 2 for your history course by accident. Now, if you're on your toes and you read the email, you can go, oh my God, let me fix that really quick and send the correct one. Because most likely you did the work, you just submitted the wrong file, right? Okay. On the other hand, let's say you went on a fishing trip. And you didn't come back read your email until the following Friday. So how many days later are you going to be? Let's see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, you're going to be 5 days late. All because you didn't read your email. Okay, so I'm telling you, You really ought to be reading the email after the grading period, which typically would be like Monday morning. So Monday afternoon, you really should be checking your Canvas email in case I send you a dramatic, oh my God type email that says you missed something. Okay, don't plagiarize or cheat because it'll annoy me. I'll say a little bit about me. So hi, I'm Emmett Gray. I'm your professor. I retired from Fort Hood about 6 years ago. I wasn't in the Army. I just worked for them as a civilian. I'm a complete, total geek. I'm a software author. I'm a programmer. I have strange degrees. I have a degree in mathematics and engineering and computer information. I'm not a PhD, so don't call me Dr. Gray. I also have a gazillion Microsoft and CompTIA certifications that you're probably not interested in. I'm what's called a visiting professor. I have an office there on the 3rd floor, and I post my office hours, and you can just drop by and come see me. I prefer doing things with Canvas email rather than on the phone. That's just my preference. And if you can't get me for Canvas for some reason, I put my university email out there as well. Okay, so that's enough about me. So I'm going to ask you in one of these questions. Later on, we're going to describe how the course works in detail. And one of the things we're going to do is every week you're going to have a thing called a journal. And the first journal is going to include a question that basically says, where are you on this scale of 1 to 10 for this course? And so at the low end of the scale is, oh my God, why did I sign up for this? I am so completely lost, which I don't think anyone will be in. At the other far end of the extreme, it's, I could teach this class with my eyes closed. I know everything there is to know about developing web pages. And quite frankly, I don't expect there'll be too many of those either. Most likely you're going to be somewhere in the middle, like, I don't know, a 3 or a 4. Okay, I got the prerequisites, I'm ready. Or maybe I've done a little bit of web stuff in the past, that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the end of the PowerPoint slide presentation. And quite frankly, this will probably be the last PowerPoint presentation you'll ever see in this course. I don't do slide presentations for a lecture. It's just not the way I work. So I'm going to be talking to you and going over material, and we're going to be doing things on the screen. That's how it really works. Okay, so let me just close this guy down, and then we'll switch over to going to the web page. Okay, so I'm going to assume that everyone has already logged into Canvas and selected the course, because quite frankly, you wouldn't be watching this video if that was the case, right? Now, I'll admit, my view of Canvas is different because, I'm a professor, so I get different menu items. It'll look very similar to this. So let's just kind of go through this. So, here we go. Here's the welcome to the course thing. Here's just a reminder that this is an online course with video lectures, okay? This is not a self-paced course. There's things that are due. How to navigate the course, and we're going to go through that, so I'm just going to hold off on that a minute. The things that you should do first. Yeah, so before the semester starts, you probably ought to, get a copy of the textbook. Yeah. Read the course syllabus, go through the introductory slide presentation. There's probably no need for you to do that because I just did it on the video. Introduce yourself in the discussions forum and install whatever software you need to be able to produce. I'm going to suggest Visual Studio. Okay, so let's just go. I'm going to go through these things kind of sort of in order. So the assignments tab, this is where, everything exists for whatever is due. There's going to be journals that are going to be due, assignments and quizzes and exams and term project and participation. The discussion forums, there's 3 discussion forums up there now. One where you're supposed to introduce yourself. And once again, we're coming up on the 15-minute marks. I'm going to pause this and pick it up again in just a few.